Hi everyone, it's Galen, design team member with Unity Stamp Company. Today I'm sharing a sweet gingerbread background by Unity, and it's a stamp. It's a large stamp, and I cut it down a little bit with a top panel, but I'm using the Unity kit called Christmas Cookie. It's a border background, and it's so sweet. I love it. So I decided to go ahead and stamp this large image onto Kraft cardstock, and then I trimmed the panel. And now I also stamped this sentiment, and I made a little tag out of that. But I'm going to show a little bit of Copic marker blending on Kraft. It's a little different than blending on regular cardstock. Here I have my dies that I used are by My Creative Time. All of the supplies that I mention on my videos are found on my blog post, on the related blog post. And also the Copic markers, I decided to go ahead and list them here and also on my blog that I used. So for Copics, they show up much darker on color cardstock and Kraft. So I wanted to start with very light green just to give it a little shadow for the green areas. I started, this took a long process to color. There's a lot to color, so I'm just showing you portions of the stamp that I colored. The top, I'm showing you how I did them at the bottom section. So I just went ahead and added that light color first, then I came in with the darker green and I did outlining. And you can also outline or color in darker shades that you want, and you can just go and do however you like. I decided not to get too detailed. I just stuck with 2 colors for each section. Now, if you think it's too dark and you want to blend a little better, you can go in with a 0 marker. It's a colorless blender. It's called a colorless blender, and it has number 0 on the Copic. And you can go over that. It has like a bleaching effect. I love that. It also helps with blending colors together when you think it's not shaded enough. And it also works on Kraft. So now I'm using a light shade of tan to start with the gingerbread. And I just went ahead and just did that, the lightest shade, all over the gingerbread, just solid. And you can see that the difference between the bottom part of the gingerbread with just one color, how it looks different from the top panel, because it doesn't have that blending and shading and layers of Copics. But you can add those. You can always add, and you can take away with that colorless blender if it's too dark. So now I'm going in with a dark brown, sort of a medium darker brown, and I'm going to accent the outlines of the stamp and any other accents in the stamp there. I'll just go ahead and highlight those. And to blend them out a little more, I'm showing another level down of brown or tan, and blending that into that darker color. It also, once the Copic's dry, it looks a little bit lighter than it does when I took the photo. But if you want it lighter again, you can always go back and use that 0 afterwards in different areas. It also, 0 helps with highlights as well. So, and now I'm just adding a tiny bit of accents with red on the candy canes and on the buttons and the bows. I just add a little bit of red. I decided I wouldn't add any additional white on those candy canes. I thought that the contrast was enough with that dark red and the Kraft, so I left that. You can add maybe a white color pencil to that candy cane if you want. I did not, but I just stopped there. I liked the way it looked. For the eyes, I used the black Copic. So now I'm using Liquid Tex Basics acrylic paint, and I'm using the white, and I'm going to water it down and then I'm using a paintbrush to just pick up some of that watered down paint and splatter it right on to the stamping and coloring, and also the background panels. I like when splatters peek through the background framing. So I went ahead and added it to all the layers. Nice, and there you go. You have some white splatters. It's pretty accent. It just gives some interest to the card and less flat. And so I made sure that was heat set. You can also set that to dry and finish it later. So then I layered the tag and added a hole punch to that. I added that background green color to the card base. And then I tied a piece of twine around the gingerbread panel and tied on that tag with a few adhesive gems to finish it up. And there you go. It's a real sweet card. It's so sweet in person. I love it. So there you go. I hope you take a moment to subscribe to my YouTube. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.